D2 Word Life here with Goldust's biggest fanboy, Riptidz.
No, it's the other way around.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
And today,
You like Goldust and his creepy ass look.
Jesus Christ, wait till we review the 96 Royal Rumble then. But until then, we are reviewing the 1996 SummerSlam event. It took place on August 18th, 96 in Cleveland, Ohio, the same city that's going to be hosting 2024 SummerSlam this weekend at time of recording.
Which is also the home of The Miz and Logan Paul.
Yeah, I know. I know Cleveland, Ohio is the hometown of The Miz and your boy Logan Paul.
No. Fuck Logan Paul.
I bet you would.
No, and fuck his prime. It's shit.
Oh, I'd bet you
What's he being sued for?
Oh, I bet you would love to have a lifetime supply of Prime.
Oh, I know you would. You want to drink garbage.
Nah. No, why would I drink something that tastes like Matt's Twitch channel? I'm just kidding. There's a little rib. But
Wouldn't it be YouTube channel, though?
YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever. He does more stuff on Twitch, but that's just a little rib. But anyway, it took place in the Gund Arena with an attendance of 17,000. And the commentators for this was... Yeah, and the commentators for this event was... Jim Ross, Vince McMahon, and Mr. Perfect.
Yep.
And of course, there was a cancellation that took place that happened at this event. It was one of the matches for this event was supposed to be Man Johnson defending the Intercontinental Championship against Farouk, but that match was canceled due to Johnson being legit injured and the title being vacated.
Well, he had problems with his kidneys.
Yeah. So
because of Farouk.
Yep. So yep, and before we get to the event itself, the special shout out to the free for all match. Now I've seen the free for all match a while back, so I know how it ended, and it was Steve Austin defeating Yokozuna in the free for all match, and that was when Yokozuna went to go do his bonsai drop and the rope broke.
Yep.
Having Steve Austin win the match in a rare Steve Austin on the free for all pre-show. So there you go.
With a stone cold stunner.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting that he wasn't booked on that Steve Austin wasn't booked on the main SummerSlam card this year at this particular show, considering he won the King of the Ring 2 months prior at the 96 King of the Ring event, but that didn't really affect him in the long run because we know how his career turned out to be.
Well, he was also still starting out with that Stone Cold character.
Yeah, but, him being on the pre-show for this, Stone Cold Steve Austin being on the pre-show for this event, didn't really hurt him in the long run, because we know what kind of career he would have afterwards in the years following this, anyway.
Hall of Fame worthy.
Yep. But anyway, the pay-per-view kicked off proper with the opening promo package focusing on the main event between Shawn Michaels and Vader and the Boiler Room Brawl, hyping that one up between The Undertaker and Mankind.
And having that fat weasel Paul Bearer betray him.
Yeah, but we'll get into that in detail when we get to that.
No, that was the point where he was betraying him anyways.
Well, it was at this event, but we'll talk about that when we get to the ending of that match. Yeah,
but I'm just saying that prior to the entire event is that Paul Bearer was starting to get tired of The Undertaker and shit.
Yeah, and quote, accidentally costing The Undertaker matches.
Yes.
I say quote as in air quotes.
Yes. And I quote.
But anyway, the first match of this event was Slammy Award winner Owen Hart, who had his left arm in a cast, taking on Savio Vega in a one-on-one match.
Yep.
And I guess Owen Hart in the weeks or months prior was using this cast as a weapon and winning it and trying to win matches using it as a weapon illegally.
He was using it even in the match with Savio Vega, so.
It's, it's like, but despite that advantage that Owen Hart had, Vega got the advantage early on with a control with an armbar onto Owen. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and here's a side note. Jim Cornette was Owen Hart's manager at this point, but he was in the back with hyping Vader up for his main event, so he wasn't even out ringside for this one either.
Well, he was the manager for, God damn it, the other wrestler that was there.
It's like Jim Cornette at this point was the manager of Owen Hart, British Bulldog, and Vader.
Yeah, the British Bulldog, who was also at that event, and which he cost him.
Yep. But, it's like... But, this match was kind of back and forth. A spot that stood out to me was Owen performing his signature enziguri on Vega himself.
Yeah, but he also had his hand behind Vega's head when he went to suplex him off the top rope and knocked Vega out.
Of course, let's get to the interference spot here. Clarence Mason came out.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, of course, Owen Hart couldn't win without cheating back then anyways.
Yeah, but do we overlook that in this day and age? Yes. It's like, yes, but, still. But still, we got to acknowledge what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's like Clarence Mason tried to attempt to get into the ring. And of course, there was a big back body drop spot from Vega onto Owen Hart, but Owen had his cast behind Vega's head, causing him to get knocked down. And then in the middle of getting up, in the middle of all that, when the referee was tending to Savio Vega, Owen actually slipped the cast off his arm, nailed Savio and Vega in the head with it. I don't see how the referee didn't see it, because the referee was literally behind Vega when it happened. Could have clearly called a disqualification there if he wanted to.
Yeah.
It was like Savio Vega was out cold, and then Owen, for some reason, decided just to put Vega's unconscious body into the sharpshooter for a win.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, what's your thoughts on this opening contest here?
He is a cheating little a-hole.
It's like, yep. I mean, it was kind of a good little way to kick off the show.
Your boy from the Nation of Domination.
That faction wasn't even in existence yet at this point. And it's like, you ain't never gonna let that go, are you?
What do you think?
But it's like, but yeah, you're funny. You're real full of jokes today. But yeah, Owen Hart, he just works as he back then he just worked as that slimy little heel perfectly that fit his role.
Little cheating asshole.
So yeah, he was naturally hated. Right?
Yeah.
Pretty much the opposite
just
of his
like
brother.
He was the Black Heart of the Hart family.
Yep. But then we gotta talk about what happened after the match. After the match, Bradshaw, or then known as Justin Hawk Bradshaw, came out to the ring with Uncle Tebekai, who's in modern day remembered fondly for being Jack Swagger's manager, Zeb Coulter.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, Bradshaw.
Not just Jack Swagger. He was Cesaro's and Humberto Del Rio.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after the match, Bradshaw just came and attacked Vega from behind with a clothesline, knocking him down, setting up their little rivalry. Right? So I'm like, well, it went bad from worse for Vega at the start of this SummerSlam event.
Yep. Well, he was just regaining consciousness, and then he gets attacked yet again.
Yep. Anyway, from there we go backstage to the boiler room where Tom Pettengill was did a
That
little
was a
interview with
creepy
Mankind,
segment with freaking Mankind licking the boiler room. Oh my!
licking the pipes on the boiler room during the interview.
Yeah, you don't know where those have been.
And I think it was Vince or Jim Ross or somebody who said, "Did you just lick those pipes?" What?
Yes.
That's a little creepy.
Yes.
I mean, imagine if that scenario happened in real life. Imagine if you were in a boiler room. I don't know why you would be in one in an arena. Let's say you were a worker there. You go down there and you see some creepy guy wearing a mask licking the freaking pipes. What would you do?
Back the fuck away.
I'd be like, I'm out of here, and I feel like calling the police.
I'm like, okay, you do what you want to do, buddy. Behind the door. Yeah, there's a crazy fucking person that's licking pipes in the boiler room.
It's weird. Mankind was a weird character.
It wasn't just weird, he was fucking out there.
Yep. But then Mankind pretty much basically warned The Undertaker not to come down there into the boiler room because what awaits him is a fate worse than death. Uh-huh. If I heard that in real life by some weirdo in a freaking boiler room, I'd be like, yeah, I'm never going back down there again. Am I right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the next match on the card was the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team match, pitting the Tag Team Champions, the Smoking Guns, which is Billy and their Master Sonny versus the New Rockers. Versus the New Rockers, which was Marty Jannetty and Leif Cassidy. Leif Cassidy, better known to modern fans as Al Snow.
Yes.
Versus the Body Donnas, which is Skip and Zip. Versus the Sister Fisters. I mean, the Godwins.
Cousin Fisters.
Which was Henry and Phineas making their second appearance as a tag team in this series.
Yep.
2 weeks in a row. Figure that one out. Right.
The Godwins.
Of course, I think. And of course, the Body Donna members, I believe it was Skip, had a neck brace on. So pretty much he didn't do anything in the match. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he didn't even get in the match, and
He just stood on the apron. That's all he did.
Yeah.
That's how useful he was.
Oh yeah, and I think it was Skip who was the real life Chris Candido, who was actually married to Sonny at that point, in real life.
Yeah.
Of course, after his passing, we all know what happened to Sonny's life. But yeah, we know where that ended up.
Well, it went downhill.
Yep, I went downhill quick.
She was high, and then she went real low.
Yeah, no, one time...
Even though it's not funny what she did, but...
Yep.
That's neither here nor there right at this point in time.
Yep, and of course, Zip took down Billy Gunn with several arm drags, and then Marty Jannetty came in, managed to trip up Zip, and Billy pinned Zip to eliminate him and the Body Donnas as a team.
Yeah, but you forgot the funny thing that they did.
It's like, oh yeah, what was that? I mean, I barely remember any of this because I'm just remembering the main events here. But what?
The funny thing is that when Zip went in there, he was facing Henry Godwin
Yeah,
or the other one. They ran both and tagged in both the Smoking Guns, Bart and Billy.
yeah. And Bart and Billy had to make contact with each other before tagging out.
Yes, and then they tried to, because they were running back and forth doing crisscross, and then they're like, well, we're gonna just go do this. We're gonna tag them in, and then they went to go tag the Godwins in. The Godwins jumped off, and then he tagged in Bart Gunn tagged in Zip.
Yep. I mean, there was several tags in this match, but like I said, the first team eliminated was the Body Donnas.
Which was the K-Fab brothers of.
Yeah, they were K-Fab. Yep. Of course, Skip did have a legit neck injury at that time, so he didn't even do anything in the match.
All he did was stand on the apron, like I said. He didn't do shit.
I mean, that's the only thing he can do. With a legit neck injury, he really can't get involved in the match. Guess they only had him.
Yes, they could have, because he was cleared.
Yeah. I mean, they could have had him do something, like get in there, just stomp on somebody, and then tag out.
Yes.
Like the very minimalistic thing, but they decided not to risk it.
They didn't risk the biscuit.
Of course, Leif Cassidy came in after and hit a knee in on Henry and tagged in. Who was tagged in with a clothesline, right? And the Rockers,
Yep.
and the new Rockers. By the way, if your tag team has anything new in the name, it's not going to work unless it's the New Day. I'm sorry.
No, the New Age Outlaws.
Okay, the New Day and the New Age Outlaws. Those are the only two exceptions. Of course, nowadays the New Age Outlaws is better known as the Old Age Outlaws. Right? And of course,
well, only one that's named. No, there's one that's named Daddy Ass.
And you would love some of that daddy ass, wouldn't you?
I know you would.
Ironically, in this match we're talking about, daddy ass is in this match. Back when he was young cowboy ass. Okay, I'm getting off topic. That sounds weird.
I know you want some of them young cowboy ass, don't you?
No. But you know, Cassidy later on attempted to roll up on Henry, who powered out. On Henry Godwin, who powered out. And Jannetty was in the ring. Slop drop was performed on him by Henry Godwin, and Jannetty got eliminated by pinfall, thus meaning the New Rockers were out of the match.
Yep.
So now we got two teams left, which was the Godwins and the Guns. The Cowboys against the Hillbillies. So either way, you were in hog heaven in the butter barn, regardless.
Oh, I know you were.
You're like, I don't give a damn who wins at this point.
Well, they also had a goddamn pig pen there, too, as well.
And why are we talking with this accent?
I don't know. Why did you start?
Yeah, the crowd really wasn't into this match at this point. I mean, you could tell when the crowd is dead silent. I think they were just waiting for the match to end, really.
Yeah. Well, it also didn't help that Sunny was being into herself and literally brought down a fucking, I think, 25-foot freaking poster of herself.
Yeah, and then an atomic drop by Henry Godwin was performed on Bart. Billy then went for a splash in the corner, but Henry caught him and power slammed him down. Phineas got the hot tag. Got the hot tag and cleaned house. It's like
Hit the slop drop.
Yeah, and then, but then Bart then sent Henry Godwin into the steel steps on the outside while the referee was distracted. Then Bart jumped off the top rope with a double axe to the back and put Billy on top of Phineas to win the match and retain the championships. So the Smoking Guns win the match.
Yep.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Sonny did a dang promo declaring that she was with the best tag team in the division, and well, a large picture of Sonny appeared above the ring. She was so into it.
She was saying, "Oh, this is what real men look like, and this is what real women look like."
And I'm just like, someone somewhere has that freaking huge ass picture of Sonny for themselves, and I'm just thinking to myself, wow, how's that image aged?
Like milk.
Now, if she had a big picture of her current self, it would be her wearing an orange outfit looking like the goddamn PE teacher from our time period. I'm sorry. So, yeah, your thoughts on this 4-way elimination tag match?
It was there.
One of the best tag team match I've ever seen. It was just there. I mean, like I said, the crowd was dead for most of it.
Well, it wasn't the best, and it wasn't the worst.
I mean, we've seen worse matches. Other than this one, Michael Cole springs to mind.
God, yes, your favorite boy in the orange jumpsuit.
Looking like, yeah. Sonny looks a lot like him these days. Okay, that's enough. I'm done. Yeah. But this one didn't really do it for me.
Well, Sonny was also manager to Farouk as well at this point.
Yep.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, and then afterwards they did a video about some of the events that took place in Cleveland that the superstars were involved with. Who really cares? Right?
Yeah.
Who really cares? Didn't really care about that. Psycho Sid was then interviewed by Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. Michael Hayes.
He creeped him the fuck. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Sid's promo was freaking like weird, creepy. But you know what's funny? One of his promos was well known today, and that was one he did in WCW years ago.
Yeah. But he was also saying that, the voices and everyone are saying, Sid, you're going to rule the world.
Yep. And just remember, he may be half the man that we are, but he has only half the brain that we do. I'm like, so you're calling yourself stupid. Okay.
You said it, not me.
So the next match on the card here was the British Bulldog versus Davey Boy Smith versus Psycho Sid.
Yep. It was a good match.
Yep. It was a good back and forth kind of match. Clarence Mason was at ringside supporting Bulldog for this one.
Which I rated Jim Cornette.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim
Cornette. Him and his goddamn tennis racket.
Cornette was yelling at ringside, yeah, he was your favorite manager because of that damn tennis racket, wasn't he?
No.
But this match was basically a battle of the two big men.
Well, yeah.
like Bulldog hit. It's like hit two clotheslines
like
to
you
knock
said,
Sid down.
like you said, when worlds collided or whatever it was, that he was missing one important thing.
What?
Sid.
Yeah. So yeah, Bulldog. I remember hit two clotheslines on it, knocking him down. Bulldog hit Sid up and hit a suplex that sent Sid's midsection onto the top rope. Sid got down, only a 2 count, right?
Well, British Bulldog was at the advantage the entire to the entire point until after he used the gut wrench thing that when he put him on the rope. That's when it all started falling apart afterwards.
Yeah, but Bulldog did manage to hit his finisher on Sid, which was the running power slam, but referee was distracted with Cornette and Mason yelling at each other from the ringside.
Yeah, he tried to do it again, and then Sid got out of it and put him into the power bomb.
It's like Sid reversed it. Sid reversed the another power slam attempt. Hit his choke slam first, and then hit his power bomb.
Yep.
And then Sid won the match. It was your typical big man match. Not really like too exciting. Sometimes
you're not going to say
beefy men. I wasn't freaking. Yeah, they were two big men slapping man meat. If that's what you want me to say, right? And it was the shortest match on the card, clocking in at only 6.5 minutes, which is understandable. Both are huge guys.
Well, they kind of had to hurry that match up because of the cancellation.
Yeah. And obviously, because of the two main events on here, the co-main event and the actual main event were slotted to be the longest matches on the card.
Yeah.
As in given more time, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the whole Psycho Sid Bulldog match?
That was good. It was interesting.
It's nothing that I would call, 5-star classic or anything.
It was an interesting match.
Yep. And of course, after that match, they showed a commercial for the next pay-per-view being held in September of '96. It was the In Your House Mind Games.
Yes.
Which I kind of want to review for the In Your House series, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Whenever we get to that one.
Right? Yeah.
And of course, the next match on the card was Goldust taking on Mark Merrow. Goldust had Marlene in his corner. Mark Merrow had Sable in his corner.
Wild man, Mark Merrow.
And of course, the video package for this one, Goldust was infatuated with Sable at that point, and so was Mankind for some reason. There's a little clip of Mankind going up to the ringside area, calling Sable mommy for some reason.
That was funny as hell. He's like, "Mommy, I didn't do anything. Mommy, I didn't do anything."
Does that remind you of a certain superstar right now with another certain superstar? Who calls who mommy around here? Oh, that's going to be sad when Dominic betrays Rhea Ripley. That's what. Making that joke invalid. Am I right?
Yeah. And then Mankind comes out again during the match and literally says, "Mommy, mommy."
Anyway, of course, there was this big freaking announcement, or not big, really big announcement. It just said, "Oh yeah, Jim Ross pretty much mentioned that Mark Merrow was working on a new move called the Wild Thing." Which we'll get to that in a minute. But, you know, the match started off, well, Goldust with his bizarre actions, though. We all know your boy is Goldust for this point.
Yeah, I know that he is yours.
It's like Goldust, at one point, Goldust did freaking hit a forearm to the back of Mero. And that sent Goldust to the barricaded rings, to the ring apron.
Yeah.
They fought on the outside. They continued to attack on the floor before rolling. Goldust continued to attack on the floor before rolling Mero back into the ring, in for a 2 count.
Yep.
And then after another back, and after like, yeah, and there was at that point, Mankind came out, disabled, and started screaming mommy at her. Again.
Yep.
And I'm just like, go back to the boiling room, you pipe-licking freak. Of course, Mankind left after referees went down to ringside. Yeah, and then, and then they did a spot on the ropes where Mero used his legs to send Goldust over the top rope to the floor.
Yeah.
Of course, the highlight was Mero hitting a somersault dive over the rope onto Goldust to the floor.
Yeah.
I thought that stood out as a good spot in the match.
He called the freaking shooting star press the wild thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, when the referee was decided, Mero actually hit the shooting star press or the wild thing under Goldust. Looked like he had a 3 count. But the ref was slow to count because he was distracted, right? Goldust got his shoulder up. But then Goldust freaking, but Goldust went for a...
He was distracted with Marlene and Sable.
It's like Goldust with his back over, but Mero came back with a power slam for a 2 count. Then near the end of the match, Goldust whipped Mero into the corner and then picked him up for the curtain call finisher for a win.
Yep.
Honestly, I was kind of shocked. I thought fucking Mero had this one won, honestly.
No, right when Goldust slammed his body down to the mat and fucking slapped him, I knew it was going to change direction.
Yep. And ironically, this won't be the first time those two would meet on pay-per-view.
Nope.
Little foreshadowing of their feud a couple years later. Right?
Yep.
Which we all know about. So your thoughts on this Goldust Mero match?
It was interesting.
For me, it was kind of like, it looked like they were just, on the numbers type thing. The only notable spot was that somersault dive and the shooting star press. But other than that, it was kind of boring-ish to me.
Well, you also forgot that he went up to Sable to try to make out with her, too.
Oh,
at
God.
The end.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
And she was traumatized. She was still traumatized from Mankind, and yet Goldust came and traumatized her yet again.
Yeah, but then after that, Mero did put Goldust groin first into the top rope, gived him out, and knocked him out of the ring. And that's how he kind of saved Sable, who was his then wife.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine getting a lip lock from Goldust when he's all painted up acting the way the character was supposed to act back then. That'd be a little weird. Right?
I know you wanted to get the lip action, didn't you?
Heck no, man.
Yes, you did. Don't deny it.
Anyway, after that, next was a video about the whole Intercontinental Championship situation and how it was vacated due to Ahmed Johnson suffering a ruptured kidney.
But he did not blame Gorilla Monsoon, who was running the show at the time, for vacating and for having his chance at the World Heavyweight
the
the
WWE Championship canceled.
Federation title at the time
Yeah.
taken away from him because of his injury.
Yeah, the WWF. Gorilla Monsoon was the kayfabe WWF president back then, which would be the same as a commissioner or a general manager in today's WWE.
Yes.
Yep.
Like he said, he's literally said that he did not blame anyone. He didn't hold it against Gorilla Monsoon because of what happened.
Yeah. Of course, Ahmed Johnson would return to action later in the 96 calendar year when he was recovered and 100%.
Yeah. Well, they were worried because if he would have had to lose his kidney, if they did not stop the internal bleeding, then he would not be able to wrestle at all again.
Yep. And of course, that prompted Farouk to come out with Sonny, obviously, pretty much saying that Sonny pretty much said that Farouk was a real man, is what a real man is all about, and that he is her special modern day gladiator. That suit Ron Simmons was wearing, Jesus. Why did Vince McMahon think that was a good idea?
That was a little too tight.
Why did Vince McMahon think a gladiator character was the best thing for Ron Simmons, an actual fighter, badass, and former WCW champion? I don't know.
Well, he was also called Farouk Hassan.
Farouk Assad, right? Pretty much the Nation of Domination at that point, little later on, several months later, saved his career.
Yes.
And then he became Farouk, member of the APA badass team later on in the later years.
Well, he became an Alkalite.
Yes.
Which made his career even better from the Nation of Domination, because that kind of was flopping at that point.
And now he's a meme. Damn.
Now he's just the living legend of the living meme.
Damn. See what I did there? But Farouk said, and also Sonny said that Farouk will be the next Intercontinental Champion. That didn't happen.
No.
Because Farouk never had won the Intercontinental title. He was a tag champion, but never an Intercontinental champion in his career there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why would they have him dress up in a tight-ass outfit that made everything show? I mean, everything. That was just weird.
Yes, that was weird. On the plus side, we found your next freaking Halloween costume. That.
No. No. Not in your Mario pipe dreams.
I would just look at you and be like, oh my God, are you the Blue Ranger? But anyway, next was the video package about hyping the Jake the Snake Roberts Jerry Lawler match, which was built around Lawler mocking Roberts for being a recovering alcoholic. This one was kind of categorized as one of the worst storylines WWE's ever done.
Well, that's because Jake the Snake Roberts would only drink when he was at the end of his rope, where he literally wanted to kill himself, and he never wanted to reveal that to anyone besides his family, yet Mr. McMahon made it happen.
But anyway, the next match was Jerry the King Lawler versus Jake the Snake Roberts. And new WWE signee, the 1996 Olympian World's Strongest Man, Mark Henry, who we all know.
Sexual chocolate!
Who we all know from these reviews. And for his career, recently signed with WWE at that time. He actually freaking came out there to provide color commentary for this match. Special guest commentary for this matchup. And You know this match was going to be a crappy match? Right when Jerry Lawler got on the microphone, be like, before the match even started, he goes, "Hey, Jake, if you do not freaking pull out what's in your bag, I will pull out what's in my bag." Jerry Lawler pulled what he had in his bag out, and it was a giant freaking champagne bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, this is where we're going to go downhill.
Well, also, Jake the Snake's Robert had his daughter there.
Yeah.
Which was kind of the bad choice at that point, if I say so myself.
Oh, yeah, and note, when Jerry Lawler made his entrance, he was wearing a Baltimore Ravens jersey to get some cheap heat in that area where they were, right? And of course...
Oh, he's hyping the heat between
And of course, during the match, Jerry Lawler actually brought out some Jim Beam and Jack Daniels whiskey bottles also into the mix, and we were like, okay, this is bad. And then
it got bad. It got even worse when Jake the Snake came out and freaking was choking him with Desmond. Or Damien.
Yeah. And then Lawler ripped
out one of his damn snakes he brought with him at the time.
Yep. Yeah, and then Lawler ripped on how ugly Jake the Snake's wife was, who was in attendance, and even mocked Mark Henry for not winning any medals at the Olympics. Knowing how badass fucking Mark Henry's WWE career went, I don't think he's crying over it in this day and age.
Well, that's why I said that he brought his family and he brought his little daughter with him to the show, which what I don't think was appropriate at that time.
Yep.
But he literally was saying, Johnny King was like, oh, when snakes get drunk, they see Roberts.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, is that the best you got?
And that was just, the pre-match. The match itself, Robert started off in control with punches and a kick to the groin when the ref was looking away. Roberts didn't manage to body slam Lawler on the outside onto the floor. And then Lawler then grabbed a drink a soda from one of the fans at ringside and tossed it in Jake's face.
Yeah.
And then Lawler brought some liquor bottles into the ring. Lawler grabbed the ref, and then after that, freaking Roberts kind of foiled Lawler's plan, attempted to hit a DDT, which Lawler grabbed the referee to avoid getting hit with the DDT finisher.
Then he grabbed the bottle again, hit Jake in the fucking throat
with it. Yeah. Lawler grabbed the whiskey bottle and hit Roberts right in the throat with it. And then Lawler covered. And then Lawler made the pin on Roberts, pulling the tights to win.
And then, of course, at the end of the match, he has to say, oh, you know why he's in it? Because he's thirsty.
He needs a drink. I'm like, shit. And with that, freaking Lawler decided to pour a whole bottle of whiskey, all into Jake's face.
Yep.
And of course, Jerry Lawler was going to attempt to do it for a second time, only for Mark Henry to get fed up and actually stop him.
Well, he was getting fed up with his antics anyways, and then right when he was going to get him for hitting him with the damn bottle, he was stopped.
Yeah.
And then he was going to do it again when the bottle was being dumped onto Jake. He was stopped again.
Yeah.
And then right when Jerry King Lawler was going to dump a second bottle, he said, fuck it.
And just went out there and been like, no, I'm stopping this bullshit. Probably trying to save everyone from a crappy angle, right?
Yep.
But yeah, anyway.
It didn't fucking matter if Mark Henry won or not. He fucking set records.
Yeah, and then... Yeah, and
records that have not been beat today.
Yes, and you know what? Jake the Snake Roberts at the time was a recovering alcoholic. He wanted to get his life back together, and this angle did not do him any favors.
Yeah, like I said, he didn't want it to be known that what was going on in his private life, or like you were saying, that he would only drink when he wanted to kill himself.
Oh, yeah, and according to what I heard, backstories about this angle, that post-match assault from Lawler was supposed to take place. However, according to what I heard, they were supposed to gimmick those bottles with some other liquid. Drinkable liquid that wasn't alcohol. They didn't do that at all. So Lawler got the real taste of the shit. Of the real stuff.
Yep.
Roberts did, right?
Yep.
And of course, when you think about this angle, it's pretty sad because we know what would happen literally 3 years later when he fell back into alcoholism.
Yep.
Giving us the absolute worst fucking performance on that Heroes of Wrestling show, which I will never, ever review.
Okay, we're going to review it, Dustin.
If you want to review it, you can torture yourself and you can just tell me how much crap it was because I am not friggin' reviewing it. I'll just react to the crap you saw. That you talk about.
No, I fucking watching that shit. That was just piece of shit garbage. that was hot garbage. That was worse than your channel.
That event is worse than anyone's channel. And fuck you. The only reason my channel is trash now is because you're on it.
No. It was trash without me. I just made it better.
Yeah, there's a little rib. Right? But yeah, it's like, what do you think of this match overall? I thought it was crap, bro. I'm not going to lie.
It was a shitty match. It wasn't really shitty. Well, yeah, it was shitty.
I mean, I've seen Jake Roberts have better matches than I've seen Jerry Lawler have better matches. Now that we reviewed both real quick, which Jerry Lawler match do you think was worse, Roberts or Cole?
Roberts.
Yeah, I hate to agree. Jesus. Only because of the shitty angle they were working with.
Roberts by far, because they were working with his fucking alcoholism, kind of trying to pull him out of it, but it kind of failed.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing that happened, there was the video package recapping the Mankind Undertaker feud that started 5 months prior, with Mankind attacking the Undertaker at various moments, including Mankind's debut. They were building the story up. Right?
Yeah.
Which resulted in this boiler room brawl between the two. Right?
Yes.
And Paul Bearer made his entrance to the ring holding the urn. And it was determined right there that the winner of this boiler room brawl would be the first person to not only escape the boiler room, but can make it all the way to the ring to get the urn from Paul Bearer.
It was supposed to be the first one that got to the ring would get the urn, but then they decided, it has to be from Paul Bearer himself.
Yep. But yeah, the next match was the boiler room brawl semi-main. It was a boiler room brawl here between the Undertaker and Mankind. Not their most famous match, but it was their first actual intense encounter. A prelude to what would happen later on. Because after this, they would have a Buried Alive match, and a couple years later, they would have that famous Hell in a Cell that we talked about.
The most brutal Hell in a Cell. Or if he did not do what he did, he would have died.
Yeah, but we talked about that match to death there in that review.
He is.
Anyway, The Undertaker was shown approaching the boiler room slowly. Right?
Yeah.
Opened the door. He was searching around for Mankind in the boiler room. And after a few minutes, the creep the pipe licking creep came up from behind him and hit him and Mankind hit the Undertaker in the back with a lead pipe, kicking the brawl off proper.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of spots to talk about in this match, and I don't know if I can go over spots, so I'm just going to talk about the spots that stood out to me. During this brawl, there was some technical difficulties where the camera would freaking like lose focus or lose picture.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of added to the aura of this match. Plenty of freaking weapons used, steel pipes everywhere.
Trash can lids,
yeah. It's like the Undertaker freaking attacked Mankind with a metal pole, but Mankind avoided it with a big shot. Avoided the big shot from him. Then Mankind sprayed like freaking goddamn freaking steam on the Undertaker, thus blinding him a bit. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Undertaker came back and hit Mankind with a trash can. And then Taker hit Mankind in the head afterwards with a wooden pallet. Right?
Yeah.
The Mankind was whipped into a steel door. And then the Undertaker was whipped by Mankind into a steel door, followed by the running knee attack by Taker. The steel door, I would believe, is the garage door.
Yes.
Right. And then they ended up brawling. They ended up brawling some more in there. Two technical difficulties had the crowd booing the arena because, they were watching on monitors surrounded the ring, 4 of them.
Yeah.
This was before they had giant-ass Titantron screens that we have today that can cover everywhere easily.
Well, they had TVs that they were using that were fucking the big-ass, bulky fucking TV monitors.
Oh, you remember those.
Yeah, I had a big-ass fucking bulky motherfucker when I was growing up.
Yep, and at one point... Yeah, and then at one point in the Boiler Room, Mankind was climbing up like ladder to try to attack the Undertaker with a big elbow, right? Again, he already did that once previously.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker sat up and just grabbed the ladder and just dumped Mankind onto a freaking cardboard box. It doesn't matter what was in the box, no, that had to hurt. Pretty much landing on concrete.
Right? Yeah, he fucking literally yanked his ass off the fucking ladder after he yeeted the fucking thing.
And all I noticed was when Mankind was falling, there was pipes there that he landed in between. I'm like, yeah, if any of those pipes were like an inch further, Mick Foley's back could have been busted or broken. Landing on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, even if he would have landed on the, just the circular part of it where the turnkey, he would have been fucked.
Yep. I mean, that spot could have gone wrong just within a matter of seconds.
Yes.
And of course, after a good freaking brawl that included a bunch of weapon shots, being slammed onto the concrete floor, being whipped into the concrete walls, freaking both of them were fighting by the exit door. The Undertaker then sprayed Mankind in the face with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. Which also hit the camera crew.
Yes. And then the Undertaker managed to open the door, but when he tried to get out, Mankind attacked him and brought the Undertaker back into the boiler room. Then Mankind got out and shut the door behind him. And then he went down the hallway, went out this other door, which leads into the boiler room area. Then Mankind tried to barricade that door to keep the Undertaker from following him. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but despite that, the Undertaker came out of the door, continued the attack on Mankind. Then in the background, you see various wrestlers cheering on, including the Godwins were cheering on Taker. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Right? And then you had other heels cheering on Mankind back there. Right? And both of them eventually made their way into the arena. of course.
You had
After,
Stone Cold cheering for The Undertaker.
you had Goldust cheering for Mankind. It was like they had their own little cheer squad going down the hallway.
And what the fuck was up with Mankind throwing fucking coffee?
Yeah, trying to burn the Undertaker before going out to the arena. That was the last thing he did back there, was throw a bunch of coffee onto the Undertaker.
Yeah, you threw your precious coffee at him.
And all I could think about was like, no, caffeine abuse. Of course, Mankind did. Instead of going to the ringside area, Mankind made the mistake by waiting by the entrance for the Undertaker, only to get clotheslined.
Beat the shit out of.
Yeah, and then clothesline. I think Mankind had a 2x4, but that didn't do anything. They kept brawling towards the ring where Paul Bearer had the urn. And then Mankind was whipped into one of those TV monitors, right?
Yeah.
And of course, after a short period later, Mankind managed to get the Undertaker down. And then Mankind ended up whipping the Undertaker into the steel steps and then ripping the mat, exposing the concrete in the arena.
Well, he also tripped his fat ass with the damn mat because he was trying to pull it up with his feet on it.
Yes. Yeah, but then eventually Mankind got the concrete exposed and actually delivered a pile driver on the Undertaker on the concrete.
Which, surprising, the Undertaker no-sold.
Yes, selling it like you do on 2K24. Anyway, that's a different story. But the Mankind went up onto the apron. Looked like he was going to get into the ring, but the Undertaker stopped him. Beat him on the apron, got up on the apron himself, whipped the ropes backwards, sending Mankind head first onto the concrete.
Didn't that look familiar, Dustin?
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, how did Mick Foley not suffer concussion? But then I thought to myself, how do I know he didn't?
He did suffer concussion.
Yeah, I mean, that landing looked nasty.
He literally face planted on the fucking concrete.
Yes. And of course, after Mankind was taken care of on the outside, the Undertaker, here's where the real story started. The Undertaker went to the ring to retrieve the urn from Paul Bearer, only for Paul Bearer to turn his back on the Undertaker.
Yep.
And then Mankind, for God knows Mankind has ungodly friggin' powers, because we would still be knocked out if that was us, right? Yeah, Mankind.
Fuck yeah.
Mankind got back in the ring, continued the assault onto the Undertaker. The Undertaker managed to fight back and tried to eat the urn again, only for it to not happen.
Yep.
And the Undertaker applied the mandible claw again. The Undertaker was down. Firebird was shining the urn, but then to hand to Mankind, but Undertaker sat up and tried to assault Mankind again, only for Mankind to apply the mandible claw again. But then when the Undertaker was down, getting stomped on, he actually went to crawl towards Paul Bearer, only for Paul Bearer to take the urn and hit the Undertaker in the head with it.
Yep.
And then after that, he gave the urn to Mankind, thus Mankind won the Boiler Room Brawl.
Yep.
And of course, after the match was done and over with,
the Druids came.
Yeah, after the match was over with and Mankind and Paul Bearer were out of the ring after they embraced with a hug for some reason. The Druids music
because he
started.
became his manager afterwards.
Yep. And after Mankind and Bear walked away, the Druids music started playing. The Druids got into the ring and the Undertaker was taken away at the end to end the night. End the story for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. A lot to take in. What was your thoughts on this first ever Boiler Room Brawl match and the heel turn of Paul Bearer here?
The fuck that they did a fucking Boiler Room Brawl in the fucking first place.
Yeah. I mean, this was 1996.
NGS fucking basement.
I mean, this was 1996. Hardcore style matches back then in WWE were very rare, if at all happened.
Yeah.
Not like today.
Yep.
And I thought the ending was pretty good. It's still iconic today because of the heel turn of Paul Bear.
Yeah.
Turning on The Undertaker and sliding with Mankind instead.
Yep, until years and years later.
Yeah. Pretty much revealing to everyone, hey, Paul Bear is going to be managing other wrestlers now, which Paul Bear's resume of wrestlers he managed, they're legendary.
Yeah, Kane.
In his career, Paul Bear managed Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Vader, and at one point in the indie scene, LA Knight. That's one that people don't remember or talk about because most people don't know that. Right?
Well, a lot of people didn't know who the fuck LA Knight was
back then, right? Yeah, but I thought the match was pretty good. It was unique for the time period, right?
Yeah.
And out of the Boiler Room Brawls I've seen, this one was still the best. There's only been like a handful of them, but this one it ranks as the best one that I've seen.
Well, there's only been I think 3 or 4 fucking Boiler Room Brawls.
I know 2 that happened on pay-per-view and 1 that happened on SmackDown. So I think there was 3 total. This one was the best.
Yes.
And ironically, all 3 involved Mankind because that was his match.
Yeah.
But we got one more match to talk about. And that was the main event.
It's time. It's Vader time.
It's time. It's time. It's time to lose to wrestling politics. Anyway, the main event of the night was Vader challenging Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. Michaels was a champion at this point.
Yep.
And of course, freaking Shawn Michaels' manager at the time was Jose Lothario, who was not at ringside. Right? Jim Cornette was
he came out at ringside at the end, towards the end.
Yeah. But during the entrance, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And of course, Jim Cornette was managing Vader at this point. And this was your typical David versus Goliath match for the WWE Championship. And of course, Vader dominated early on by punching Michaels down and hitting a clothesline, but Michaels came back with a drop kick and knocked him down. Vader, for a big man, was very athletic. And he sold freaking moves that a big man really shouldn't sell, by the way.
Well, he was moving like a lightweight instead of a heavyweight.
Like Vader sold Shawn's dropkick. Vader later on in the match sold Shawn's Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't get credit for doing things that most big men can't do. All right.
Yeah.
And of course, Vader got back in control. Vader got back in control later on and caught Michaels and powerbombed him onto the floor.
Yep.
After Michaels hit some aerial offense that included the Hurricane Rana spot and the drop kick dive over the rope onto Vader, right?
Well, also he freaking took the skin the cat move where he yanked Shawn Michaels into it, where he literally had Shawn Michaels' nuts in his mouth.
You would love to have Shawn Michaels' nuts in your mouth.
No, I know you would.
Take you out of context.
Freaking literally just fucking slammed him face fucking first into the damn mat. And
of course, after the powerbomb spot, Vader carried Michaels back into the ring, and Vader overpowered Michaels with punches in the corner and a suplex. And then Vader hit 2 hard whips into the corner as Michaels bumped over the top to the floor. Right?
Yeah.
Doing that one spot he's known for.
Well, the first one he hit the ring post. The second one he got thrown the fuck over.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Michaels tried to make a comeback, but Vader stopped his momentum with a clothesline, seeing him down. Seeing him over the top rope, where he tried to skin the cat move for a comeback, which led to Vader grabbing him and tossing him out of the ring anyway. He's like, Vader's like, I had enough of y'all shit. Right?
Which caused Vader to win in a count out.
Actually, no, we'll talk about that. Right? We'll talk about that after we talk about this, because I'm thinking about it in chronological order here.
No.
And then Vader went for a splash, but Michaels got his knee up to the groin of Vader. We know that one. And of course, at one point, Michaels got Vader down. Right? And here's where the wrestling politics came in. Michaels went up to the top rope. I was guessing to perform an elbow drop, which Vader was supposed to move. We can clearly see his day.
Yeah.
But when Michaels went to jump, he had to correct himself. He landed on his feet and just yelled, "Move!" at him, at Vader. And then, while proceeding to legitimately stomp on his head. Michaels was known as being a big-ass crybaby back then. He didn't even like working with Vader, if rumors to be believed.
Well, the thing is that Vader was kind of knocked out.
Yeah.
So at that point, and he freaking was trying to get the cobweb shaken out, and then right when Shawn Michaels was supposed to do his elbow drop,
yeah,
he literally could not move in the time, so Shawn Michaels had to correct him, yell, "Move," and stomp on him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, a lot of people said that Michaels in the ring, actually, Michaels backstage in this politics piece of shit back in the 90s. And it really showed here. Right.
Well, there was two faces of Shawn Michaels. There was the politics side, and then there's the wrestling side.
Yeah, and then those two went back on the outside where Vader caught Michaels, dropped him throat first onto the barricade, and then Vader rolled back into the ring, and Michaels lost by countout.
Well, the thing is because Shawn Michaels had called him a fat piece of shit when he told him to move, and that pissed Vader off.
Yes.
And Vader fucking went and clotheslined him to begin with outside, then picked his ass up, dropped his neck, his throat, literally on the freaking barricade.
Yes. And Michaels got counted out, which Vader was declared the winner by countout, but Jim Cornette was like, no. We want to restart the match. We came for the title. Restart the match.
You don't want to be gutless.
Michaels, you don't want to be a gutless coward, don't you? You don't want that reputation if you leave right now. So the match was restarted after Vader went out there and nailed Michaels. On the outside, when the match was restarted. And the refs tried to keep Lothario back from attacking Cornette, right?
Yeah.
And during the second part of this match, Michaels actually did hit the elbow. Michaels was going for the sweet chin music, but Jim Cornette grabbed his legs, which prompted Michaels to grab Cornette, take his tennis racket, and hit Vader with it repeatedly.
Not you're missing parts there, because Jim Cornette had grabbed Shawn's leg. Then the ref came over after Shawn was trying to attack Jim Cornette, which prompted Jim Cornette to throw in his freaking tennis racket after he saw that Vader was taking advantage of the distracted ref, and then Vader missed catching the racket, which fell to Sean to pick it up, and then he started wailing him.
Yeah, so in other words, yeah, Michaels started wailing Vader with the tennis racket, prompting the referee to call the match in Vader's favor by disqualification. Another unsatisfied ending. But just like the last time, but then like those two started brawling. Vader grabbed a chair, but the other referees went to the ring before Vader could do any damage with the chair.
Gorilla Monsoon was in there.
Gorilla Monsoon was also in there in the middle of all that. Then Jim Cornette did another, got on the microphone and said, Hey, restart the match. We came for the title, you gutless coward. You ain't taking the easy ways out tonight.
Yep.
So Gorilla Monsoon decided to restart the match. Yeah, and then Vader then missed a sitting splash. Michaels decked him with a forearm to the face. Hit an elbow drop on the Vader. And then Michaels hit Sweet Chin Music, his super kick on the Vader, but Vader kicked out at 2.
Yep.
Of course, if you notice this too, the referee said it was a 2 count, despite the fact Vader did not kick out. He didn't get his shoulder up.
He got his shoulder up. He just didn't do it enthusiastically. He popped it up for a second and then went back down.
Yeah, okay, maybe just lifted up for 1 second and then went back down, and because of the angle of the camera, it didn't look like he did that.
Yeah, no, you could see it kind of at a certain angle if you would look. Yeah. He kind of popped it up a little bit and then went back down.
Yeah.
Right when he popped it, right when it went to 2 and a quarter of the way to 3, he kind of popped it up a little bit.
And of course, Vader afterwards shoved Michaels into the referee, who bumped out on the floor. Then Vader hit a power bomb. A second ref who was on the floor came to make the 3 count. Looking like Vader was going to win it, but Michaels kicked out at 2. Then Michaels down and out. Vader set up Michaels towards the ropes. Looked like he was going to go for a Vader bomb. But then Jim Cornette told him to go up to the top rope.
All the way to the top.
Yeah, so Vader went all the way to the top rope. Looked like he was going to hit a moonsault onto Michaels. But Michaels got out of the way. And instead, Michaels hit a moonsault of his own onto Vader, who was standing up. At this point, landed right on top of Vader, and looked like Michaels' knee hit Vader right in the face, too.
His knee did hit him in the face.
Yeah, and then Michaels got a 3 count, but Vader kicked out literally right after 3. But it didn't count.
Yes.
So Michaels defeated Vader to retain the WWE Championship here. So politics and whining and the false finishes aside, what's your thoughts about this main event?
It was okay.
Yeah. And of course it was because of this match. Shawn Michaels hated working with Vader, according to what I heard. Always complained that he was too stiff in the ring. Also complained that Vader never washed his ring attire as often as he should have. That was another factor why Michaels hated working with Vader. And it was shortly after this that Vader's main event push that he was on at the time stopped.
That's because everything Shawn Michaels was saying was untrue. And Shawn Michaels had a hard time trying to win matches against Vader, so he had to come up with stupid shit.
So yeah, Vader's main event run was squashed at this point. Yeah, Vader would have more WWE Championship matches, a couple of more WWE Championship matches after this, but it never felt as if Vader had a chance to win, as he did here with Michaels in those other matches, main event matches he had. All right.
Yeah.
So now that we reviewed all the matches, talked about them, here's our star rating system. Owen Hart defeating Savio Vega by referee stoppage.
2 stars.
You give it 2? I'd give it about 2.5. It was an okay way. it was an okay start to the show. Just wasn't, the greatest match, Owen Hart match I've seen.
Yeah.
The Smoking Guns defeating the New Rockers, the Godwins, and the Body Donnas in that 4-way elimination match to retain the tag team championships.
I say 3.5.
I'd say about 3 out of 5. So there you go. We're kind of like near the same thinking. Like Psycho Sid defeating the British Bulldog in that singles match they had. I'd give it 3.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. Goldust defeating Mark Marrow in a singles match. I give this one 3.5.
3.25.
All right. Fair enough. Jerry the King Lawler defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. 0.
Negative 100.
Yeah, so we're pretty much out the same way of thinking. That match was crap.
Yes.
Mankind defeating The Undertaker in the Boiler Room Brawl. That also saw the heel turn of Paul Bearer. I give it 5.
4.
I give it 5 out of 5.
4.
You give it 4 out of 5. That's still above average, still good. And Shawn Michaels defeating Vader to retain the WWE Championship in the main event after
4.5.
2 restarts. Yeah, about 4.5. So if I would recommend only one match to see from this pay-per-view, it would be the Mankind Undertaker's Boiler Room Brawl.
Yeah.
So overall, my final grade for SummerSlam 1996 would be probably a C.
I had to say a low C.
Yeah. It's mostly because the last 2 matches are the semi-main and the main event are the only 2 matches worth seeing. The rest of the matches you can just skip, and you really wouldn't miss them that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was SummerSlam 1996, and our thoughts and opinions about it. Next review we're going to be doing will be this year's SummerSlam that takes place this Saturday at time of recording.
Yep.
So yeah, we will be reviewing the 2024 SummerSlam event.
After you'll find out what my pick is.
Exactly. So until then, we will see you. We will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Doses.